Sort of amazing stuff happening right now. I think you've probably all been at least following some of this stuff as it relates to Wall Street bets and GameStop, where the people are actually fighting back. The people are pushing back. It was sort of amazing. I put out something this morning and basically said, it took less than a day for big tech, big government, and the corporate media to spring into action and begin colluding to protect their hedge fund buddies on Wall Street. This is what a rigged system looks like, folks. That was my tweet this morning. In seeing that, AOC, someone who I probably don't agree with on much, gotta admit, it's really something to see Wall Streeters with a long history of treating our economy as a casino complain about a message board of posters all treating the market like a casino. She's actually right. I don't know that we've ever agreed on anything, but I'm not the only person to have noticed that.
Now they're pissed off, the Wall Street elites, that deplorable, unwashed masses have overcome the prisoner's dilemma, learned to act collectively, and have beat them at their own game. Journalists are starting to figure out that the American public is learning to act through coordination over time and collective effort through social media and elsewhere, putting out their own blogs. So what do journalists do? What every tyrant does. They mobilize against free speech to crush them because elites in the media are really pissed that citizen journalists get to do their job, especially ones like me that expose the whole Spygate debacle and the collusion hoax. They hate it. So journalists are now mobilizing to crush facts. Well, that parlays into our final story, which I've teased for the whole show, which is absolutely fantastic. And when I say that, I mean the whole elites are really pissed off right now that there's been a revolt amongst the masses and people are starting to figure out how to coordinate to get their kids out of school, to fight back against the elitist media. People are starting to coordinate and figure out how to do it.
Let's bring in William Legate, an entrepreneur and founder and CEO of Predict, a cryptocurrency platform. He's also been closely monitoring the Reddit thread for years. William, thank you very much for joining us. What do you make of this entire situation, and how do you think it will or should play out?
Yeah, I think this isn't just a traditional kind of pump and dump, which I feel like a lot of people on your network are characterizing it as. I think it's a much broader socioeconomic movement. And a lot of these traders on Wall Street bets, quite frankly, don't care whether or not they make or lose money. The diamond hands over there are wanting to hold long term, and they have a lot of animosity against the Wall Street types and these people that they feel like are rigging the system against them. And quite frankly, the optics of stopping, Robinhood earlier today and IBKR stopped the trading of all these so-called, meme stocks. And I think that's quite frankly criminal.
And by the way, William, forget about even the stopping of trading, because that's a different issue. These companies, we can get into that. But from a populist perspective, and Eamon, you could chime in too. Do you think, and by the way, maybe there's people we know that are guilty of this, that there's this sort of talking down to these retail investors. Let me tell you something, okay? I don't know if you gamble, William or Eamon, but I like to play blackjack. And if I'm sitting at a blackjack table and some guy sits down and starts hitting on 17 or 16 every time and losing a bunch of money, you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to turn to the guy and be like, man, you should really do this, or you're not a very good blackjack player, or be careful, the casino always wins, because he probably will and should punch me in the mouth. Right? Do you feel like we talk down somebody? If they want to gamble their money, if they want to trade or they want to invest, whatever you want to call it, it's their own business.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching a segment earlier on your network, and one of the guests was calling these people, quote unquote, unsophisticated investors and uneducated investors, and saying they don't have any idea what they're doing. But if that's the case, then why did a $12 billion hedge fund implode basically overnight? Because a lot of people saw that 130%. Of all shares were in a short position. When we have that kind of leverage and reckless investing from hedge funds, and people see that and take advantage of that. That's what the free market is. So I think it's extremely hypocritical, and there's a spotlight being put on this right now, and I think that it's uniting kind of both sides of the political spectrum, as you said, both Ted Cruz and and AOC. There's not many things they agree on, but this is one of them.
Eamon, get in here.
Yeah, look, I mean, William, you've been following this so carefully, and I thought one of the things that you said when we talked yesterday, which I found fascinating, was this idea of nostalgia and this idea of leverage and sort of, so walk us through the thinking on these Reddit boards in terms of what the next targets could be of this group. How does this anger manifest itself in terms of specific stocks that people might be trying to take out next?
Yeah, I think there's a general longing and sense of people wanting to kind of go back to the good old days, the simpler times, the pre-code era, the era when things were maybe financially more, stable, I guess you could say. So a lot of stocks that kind of bring back that nostalgia, things like Nokia, things like, the Blockbuster liquidation company. Those types of stocks are very nostalgic from a kind of cultural perspective, but also very meme worthy, I would say. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I think the traditional Wall Street types don't understand is the mindset of the retail investor and what matters to them. Because a lot of people on Wall Street, they trade on fundamentals, they'll trade on technical analysis. Those are the things that matter to Wall Street investors. The retail investors have a little bit of a different mindset sometimes. And it's not, I think it's wrong to say that their mindset's, uneducated or comes from a point of ignorance. It's just a different strategy and way that they approach the market. And right now it's working out pretty well for them. So we'll see what happens. But in terms of what stocks would be kind of next, I've seen a list of basically just the most shorted stocks from hedge funds. There's both this kind of this cultural aspect of it.
We got to go in, but isn't that rich that you got the big Wall Street firms putting out lists of names that might pop from the retail investor who's going after the Wall Street firms? When there's money to be made, people are going to step in. It's a great combo. We got to leave it there. William Legate, Eamon Javers, and by the way, Eamon's got a piece up on CNBC.com. I urge everybody to check that out. Good discussion, gentlemen. We appreciate it.
Hello, this is John Reon. Welcome to the real world as I put my 2 cents in as we are seeking truth daily together. As we see, the manipulators do not like to be manipulated. Basically what you see going on with the GameStop Corporation stock. Back in my day when stock trading was done by way you would have to go to a stockbroker to buy or sell a stock. You'd have to either call them on the phone or talk to them personally. And I had a friend that was a stockbroker and he made good money. And I was like, how do you make so much money? How you always call the stocks right, make a profit of 10% every time you invest? And he said, well, it's easy, John. What we do is I'm a stockbroker and I've got a group of 100 friends that are stockbrokers. So what we do is we buy into a stock, and then all the people that buy stocks through us, we send out recommendations for them to buy a certain stock. And they'll look at it and see it went up 4% because me and my 100 friends got together, my 100 stockbroker friends got together and bought into the stock. Then we convince thousands of people to buy into the stock that we previously bought into, and they raised the price up about 10 to 20%. So then we sell off normally at our 10% profit range, and we'll always make a 10% profit. And that's the way the market worked back then. I thought about becoming a stockbroker, but then I felt that just seems so dishonest. But, that's just the way I think, because he invited me in. He could set me up, and back then it wasn't that hard to get a brokerage license. But then we had the online trading come in to where everybody can buy and sell, and you're charged a small commission. Now, a lot of people, like these hedge funds, were shorting the GameStop stock. So by way of them shorting it, they would make money if the stock went down. They would lose a ton of money if the stock went up. And that is the manipulation of many retail buyers out there. And in other words, a lot of individuals got together and they saw that all these hedge funds were shorting this stock. So they decided they were going to make it go in the other direction. And it did so crazily fast. And as you see here, the red is the end of this day's trading, and this is after hours trading. And to be quite honest with you, There's an old detective saying, follow the money. If you want to find who's behind something, follow the money. And that's why I was always curious on 9/11 and the day after, how come they never looked to see who was selling airline stocks short? Because if you were short on airline stocks, you made a ton of money after 9/11. And those that went, after going short on airline stocks, went long on security stocks, because security stocks soared while airline stocks tanked. And if you really wanted to find out who was behind 9/11, follow the money. You investigate who had a whole lot of money a couple months prior to 9/11 shorting airline stocks. Seek the truth daily, my friends. The truth will find you seeking.